Hello, everyone. Welcome to this year-end compilation of programming. I am Sybil Wilkes. It's Sybil. And with me today are all of the young contributors to the What You Need to Know newsletter, as well as the It's Sybil streaming shows. Hello. Merry belated Christmas and happy New Year in advance to all. Hello, Aprylete. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. Young Kwyn, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine, looking like a little girl ready to put together some toys. And young Coy, taking a moment away from your gazillion jobs. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. And young Cam, Santa Zaddy.
Santa Daddy.
All right, Santa Zaddy.
Yes, Happy New Year to you all, and I hope you've been a good girl.
Kwyn, I gotta ask you, has your brother always been like this?
No, he has not. No, he has not. And I'm not mad at him for being like this. The evolution is entertaining, but it makes me cringe sometimes, brother. At least let me turn my camera off, okay? Let me not be here.
Well, I'm glad to know this. I'm glad to know this. So everybody that reads your columns, everybody that watches you on the streaming show, everybody wants to know a little bit more about you. And we are taking a look back at the great things because we have nothing but positive things that we want to promote in our lives. And if you think positive, then really believe that the positive things will manifest. So we're going to look back at some of the things that happened in your life. We're going to look forward to things you would like to happen and just have a conversation about all of this because there's so much negativity. And Lord knows in the newsletter, we talk about some of the more negative and the more disturbing aspects of life. I would dare say that Kwyn and Coy deal with this most. Not only for the number of times that they write in the newsletter, but also the topics. And I worry about them because of the topics. And I'm not saying that I want them to change anything about this, but because the news weighs me down. After many years of one particular administration and now being here and things being so up in the air as far as elections and things are concerned, this disturbs me. I was having a conversation the other day with my cousin, and we were talking about how disturbing things are, and we both said at the same time, I'm so glad my mom and she said my mama are not here, simply because I don't know how they would adjust to this, but my mom was a positive person, and so I believe, and our executive producer Yolanda Starks White is a positive person, so it's good to have that around you. But we need more of that, and we need to encourage each other and lift each other up with things of positive news. This is the season for sharing the good news, and also for looking forward to and making good things happen. And we're going to play a game of name it and claim it in a little bit. But first of all, let me ask you, what are the most positive things that have happened to you, either publicly or personally, over the year 2022? Who would like to go first? Santa Zaddy?
Yes. I would say that that publicly, of course, I've had a great opportunity to share a lot of my artistic work with a lot of people, and coronary artery was received extraordinarily well.
And explain to people what coronary artery is.
Oh yeah, coronary artery is a stage play that examines the public health crisis that is Chicago's public transit system, and it follows the life of a Black man named Dennis on his way to a job interview, and he gets trapped on his commute, doomed to repeat the same day over and over and over, while the life of his family moves him fast forward. And so it explores what Black people sacrifice to advance. It's a contemporary play, but it was received in such a in such a way where a lot of people felt seen, a lot of people felt heard. And that's what I hope to do with my contemporary writing work. And
With
so that
your
was
art.
very
Yeah.
fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would say that privately, Santa Zaddy has done a very good job at crossing some ladies off the naughty list.
Oh God.
Okay, I think we're gonna lose Kwyn any second now. So Kwyn, let me ask you, but beyond this conversation, what's probably one of the give me your we're gonna ask for you 3 possibly more of the more positive things that have happened to you this year, and you certainly have quite a list.
Yeah, I was at first I want to say just a good safe and successful move to Virginia, relocating still during a pandemic, and finding, a beautiful apartment. I'm literally living a life that I prayed for. And this is something that, renting for the first time and like really living on my own for the first time. God has just been really merciful in terms of really meeting me where I am. And also just like challenging me to dream bigger. This isn't a place that I could think I could actually even, let alone afford, let alone actually have, like in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So I would say just the move and like driving my mom and my stepfather driving me from Chicago here, just having a safe 12-hour drive.
And
Performing in
getting
London.
a great job.
Yes, getting a great job. Absolutely. I was gonna say performing in London is definitely a highlight too.
That's
being in Europe. Yes, it was. Yeah.
And explain to people how that happened.
Oh, and so there's this agency called So Far Sounds. They're international, and so like you can book from Chicago, like all the way to London. They were originally created in London. And so I got the opportunity to actually perform like in So Far London. And so that was just like really cool.
That's awesome. And your performances around the country. And now that you're on the East Coast, you've done Washington, D.C. and other things as well, right?
Yes. And Baltimore as well, which is really cool. But I was gonna say the third thing was also like getting my books in the Chicago Public Library as well.
Wow, that's
big.
so awesome.
That's
Look at you,
big.
girl. You had a wonderful year.
Right?
Wonderful.
That has been good. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Okay, so while we, kind of rearrange the spaces here, Coy, let's talk to you as the original youngin on the What You Need to Know news staff. What do you say was your top 3, or if you have more, of the positive things, the best things that have happened to you this year?
I would say one of the best things that happened this year is I became a chef / cook. That was an achievement in itself. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I've been afraid to kind of step out and take that first step. And it's just like once I took one step, the next step came, and the next step came, and the next step came. Yeah. And then next thing you know, here I am cooking as one of the leads in a top luxury brand that's known across the world. And I'm at their headquarters. I'm like, wow, okay, I couldn't see this happening at all.
Right.
Not at all.
That's major. I mean, because you had, I joke about you being the Jamaican of the group, but you really do have like a gazillion and one jobs. And now you've been able to concentrate on this and get benefits and, all the things that come along with having a great job with a major corporation.
Yeah. Coy, you did really well in taking that leap of faith.
Absolutely. We're going to get you a better phone, however. But
I think I need some foil or something. I don't know what's going
on. Aprylete, let's turn to you and some of the things that you have seen. You too, like Coy and like Kwyn, have moved, you have a new job, and I don't want to take anything away from, but you guys are all, and Khameron too, Santa Zaddy, don't want to take anything away from him. But you guys are all in that space where your lives are turning and changing for the better.
No, for real, like really experiencing that like transition and the change. So I think other than like my move and like leaving one career field and changing over, I think that just I experienced a lot of increase. And that's from just having my season of just obedience and my sacrifice. So it's just like last year was just really the increase. And that's all across the board, like financially, increase in my network, increase in my faith, just like everything that I was doing, it was just like an increase and an abundance. So that's what I would say. So I actually just moved from St. Louis to Atlanta, and then I was able to move from Atlanta to Dallas, like all in a 1.5 year stretch of time. So it's like that's a blessing in itself to just be able to do it and to be led and actually follow and like have the resources to do it. And the people that I've touched and the people that have touched me in this whole year has been so instrumental, so amazing. So I'm just so very happy. And this year it's so wild because it's so unconventional for me, because I am so used to structure. I'm so used to like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. This is how I've structured my life. But from when I left the industry, things were a little different. I'm just like, you know what, this is different for me, God. Like, what am I supposed to do? And he was like, just listen and follow me, be obedient. And I think that this whole year has showed that. And so now I'm just looking forward to like what's on the other side of my obedience. So yeah, I'm super happy. This year has been awesome.
So based upon this and what you all have expressed, what's the advice that you would give to other people in your age group, your peers, regarding this year of change and flourishing?
You know, the 30s is grind mode. You know, your 30s is where you put in the work to decide what your 50s on up is going to look like for the rest of your life. However, your memories of your 30s will stick with you throughout your entire life. And so I am making it a point to remain cognizant of the future that I want to create, but I don't want to spend my 30s worrying about the outcome.
Right.
And so I'm trying to manifest a spirit of joy and gratefulness and exude a servant spirit and grace, so that when I look back on my 30s, however it is that I end up, I know that I am satisfied with whatever it is that God sees to have for me at the very end of it all. So yes, work, yes, put in 110% when you can, but also enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Enjoy the ride. That part right there.
That part right there. So Aprylete, you are, is he preaching to the choir there? You're in agreement.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement because it's so true. I think that a lot of people that are heading into their 30s or their later years of their 20s, it's kind of like, I have to figure it out. I have to know everything. And it's just like, relax.
Well, because you all think you know everything anyway.
Well,
I don't. I lean on my help because I know that I don't know much. But I think it's just like easing into it and giving yourself grace. And like you said, enjoying the ride. And it's like, for me, it's just like, it's going to be okay. Like, that's what I have been telling myself. Like, it's going to be okay. And when I look, I'm like, Jesus, you're amazing, because it is okay. And of course, like, you will have, maybe rough days, rough times and experience. I mean, life is not easy. But it's like the mindset, like it's going to be okay. And if you put good things out and you have positive energy and just being that light, how could you really like stay in darkness? It doesn't match up, So that's just kind of how I go through life, because I know what type of person I am and what type of spirit I am, and I know who I serve. So it's just like at the end of the day, if I hit this low, like I will always be picked back up for sure. Right. So yeah, moving through this journey in life, and now this new decade that I'm in, like I'm super just excited. So my, I guess, advice to anyone in this space and in transition and getting older, ease into it and just know that it's going to be okay.
So one of the things that you said that people always say to me and will say about, just listen to what God has for you. And I ask him to talk to me all the time. But I don't hear God, but I see the way things move are his plans, are his direction. Do you all hear from above and the way things should go? I mean, Aprylete said, you listen and you hear God telling you these things are going to come. Your abundance is here, or, perhaps in your move and looking for a new job. Do you hear God in leading you to these positive events and things that are happening in your life?
Yes, I have when it came to my my move and things like that, it was specific words, it was specific conversations that I heard. That's how I knew that it was time. So when I left the industry, it wasn't a specific thing like, oh, you need to leave your job. It was it's time to go. Right. And I'm like, oh God, because if it was up to me and my ego and my identity, I would have still been on the news. I still would have been working for 11 Alive while I went to Atlanta and things like that. I still would have done that, but that would have been for self. So I had to listen to the spirit. And so I know, Coy, you're shaking your head and you're very spiritual. And I'm sorry if I'm doing too much, but you're shaking your head as in yes, in agreement, right?
Yeah, because the way that I've learned, what is the difference between God's voice and my own voice is when you hear God's voice,
your voice is deeper.
Yeah. No, God will tell you what it is. It'll be very simple. And it'll say it one time, go here, try this out, wear this thing. It'll be one thing, real simple, short. When it's your voice, and I feel like
and you got a lot of words.
And it's like I feel like our voice is backed by a lot of anxiety. It'll be like, do this, do this. A lot of go there. Stop. What are you doing? Yeah. Why are you doing this? No, you need to go do this. It's a lot of extra.
You need a word count in your own life.
Yeah.
A word count in your own life.
That's what it does. But when it's God, is chill out. Move to Houston. Sit down. Do this job. Get up and finish this thing that you started. Real simple, clear-cut instruction. You'll get it repeated if you haven't finished it, but that repeat will only announce itself one time. In the same way you heard it the first time. Might be a little bit louder, not to startle you or anything like that, but to get your attention.
Sort of like a parent. I mean, God is our parent, but we call him Father. But it's like my dad used to say, I'm telling you one time and one time only, and if you don't get it, it's on you.
Yeah,
right.
And even when you hit your head and you see that you haven't done it, you'll hear that same instruction again. See, I told you.
Yep.
Go here. Are you gonna go here now? Go do that.
You ready now? Yep.
Yeah.
Santa Zaddy, we're gonna let you close this out. Are you in agreement with this conversation?
I am of the opinion that in this mortal existence, perceiving God through mortal senses impossible. I believe that we instead experience God. That experiencing God is very active. It is through movement of life that we experience God, and the more we attune ourselves to just being gracious and loving, the more we experience God. Sometimes we can. Well, I feel like sometimes we can interpret God retroactively. As far as wisdom is concerned, sometimes it's right there in our faces. We can never begin to know the fullness of God in our lived experience, but the one thing that we can do is just tap into ourselves and be our best selves for the betterment of others, and that's how we continue to experience God. That's what it is that I try my best to do. And Aprylete, I firmly believe that people are just like the sum of the company that they keep. And so if there are any like-minded individuals of the feminine variety like yourself, Santa does have some room on the nice list.
On his
Okay.
sleigh. Wow.
Yeah.
He
Santa
went
does
from
have some
being
room.
godlike to player god. Okay.
No,
All right.
I
Santa's daddy is looking for some ho on the sleigh. Okay.
you know,
A whole house full of sleigh.
okay. All right.
I love it.
Okay, let me ask you guys, what do you think you have prepared yourselves for the greatness of 2023? First of all, do you think you have, and if you have, how have you prepared yourself for all the greatness that is going to come your way? And Coy, I'm going to throw that at you first.
Well, I feel like I put in a lot of work into myself this year, especially like spiritually. I've kind of redirected my focus. So I feel like doing that is putting a lot of positive energy out there for me to receive the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to expanding a lot. Like I don't just have just where I live here in this apartment. I have a whole house that I need to do something with.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to do something with it. I've had other distractions going on, including, you know, just difficulties with work. I had a relationship that just wasn't the greatest. And I feel like I was putting so much of myself into that and trying to expand on things that were not an investment for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for my investments that are actually going to give me a return, that are of value, that are always going to be there. That's what I'm looking forward to. And it's just, like I said earlier, taking the first step. Honestly, once you take that first step, then the next step, then the next step. So that's what I'm looking forward to in 2023 is I'm taking this first step now towards this investment, my future, my inheritance. Yeah. And we're going to see where it goes. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous because I've never had a home. This is my first, home. I've never had a home and an apartment at the same time. Mm-hmm. I've never had to manage two different places like that at the same time. I've never had to consider, well, one of these could be used to generate income while this one, is in another place. I've never had to do home repairs. None of that stuff. I don't know about this stuff. I know a little bit, but not as much as I feel like I should. And I feel like with how this came about, I've been placed in an excellent position to not only learn, but to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And recognizing that is the first step.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I absolutely
I'm excited for your new year, Miss Coy. You have a lot on your plate and you can handle it. And one of the things that I always say, if God guides, he provides. So he has guided you to all of the things that are at your fingertips. So he's going to provide. So with the nerves, that is okay. Like swallow that and just continue to do and allow yourself to move through it. And again, like ease in it. But I'm excited for you, girlfriend.
And the faith that you have, even if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed.
What they say? Okay.
Just imagine the growth that will spring from that.
I just want this to come together very beautifully. I don't even want to do too much with the house, but my main thing is just to maintain what it is and to make it look really nice and have a big, beautiful garden in the back.
Well, you're starting the garden. You always have the garden right behind you. Yeah. You have a plant garden there.
Yeah, and put my little plant to shame. I'm like, cover that one up.
No, let it grow. It's gonna end up like these soon enough. Trust me.
You know what's so wild? Really quick, not to stop you, Sybil, from asking probably one of us the questions, but there is this. I saw that they have this thing called Easy Plant where you can only water it once a month. And so, Coy, you have all of those plants in your back. Is that like a real thing to water house plants once a month?
I have one. Yolanda and Ward gave me a plant for my house, and and I just realized, oh my gosh, we're at the first of the month. It's time to water it. But I'm not sure that it's in agreement with that. But that's what I do. That's what I was told. I just follow the instructions. Okay. But Coy, you would know better than I. Do you know of those?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain plants like that. I think that falls under the category of like cacti. Which would be what, like a succulent or something like that. Like this one here, sometimes I forget to water it and then it starts springing flowers when I forget to water. It's crazy. So it's just like, is that your way of talking to me? I don't know. But then others kind of fade a little bit. I feel like the ones that have like the thinner leaves will start to shrivel and what have you.
Gotcha.
Peace lilies need water every few days. You also gotta like kind of talk to them a little bit. Clovers.
All right, next time.
I'm not sure.
Sybil's
A lot of
gum.
stuff. Just really, once you get to build a relationship with your plants, you'll start to see which ones need water, which ones need direct light, which ones do a little bit better outside of light. Just pay attention to it, to be honest. You can research it and look it up, but yeah, it is. And they love it when you touch them, when you like rub the leaves, or you could put the leaves between your hands and like, yeah.
They'll love you back. It sounds like a relationship I'm not quite ready for.
Sounds like a job for Santa Zaddy. Okay.
Just imagine what you could grow there, Cam.
Mine are a little bit disappointed right now. I need to like spend a little bit more time with them. But yeah, it definitely works.
Okay, cool.
So Khameron, let's get back on track to some of the questions and about the way that you are preparing to make 2023 Santa Zaddy the best possible. Once Santa Zaddy grows out of the season, Khameron will return, and I want to know what you did as Khameron in 2022 to prepare for the greatness of 2023.
Yeah, Sybil, I've already received the premonition that 2023 will just be about maintenance and cultivating what I've already been given. You know, God has greatly expanded my territory in the last few years. With my job and community collaboration at UIC, you know, with working with this incredible team here. These are very rich and ripe seeds that I wish to cultivate. And I don't want to stretch myself too thin. I don't want to exhibit any sort of avarice or greed. I just want to maintain and focus with what it is that I have. And to prepare for that, I alluded to it a couple of weeks ago on the show that I sat down and I did an audit of my time. Like, how much time do I spend playing video games? How much time do I spend reading? How much time do I spend doing exercise? How much time do I spend doing exercise? What does and does not serve me? You know, what can be optimized to get the most out of this unfortunate 24-hour day?
Unfortunate 24-hour day. Not enough time for you, plan?
Not enough time at all. It takes a lot of time to cultivate these meaningful, lasting relationships with these very lucky and beautiful ladies. And so I only have so much time to allot to that. It's true. I choose to play the long game where at the very worst case scenario, I end up with a good friend.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the business of breaking hearts here. I am in the business of blowing out backs, though.
Hello.
Oh,
okay. All right. Okay.
You had too much eggnog. You had too much eggnog. Put the eggnog away.
Well, the ladies have spoken there, Santa Zaddy. I'm not sure.
I'm going to get myself so caught up, it's going to be ridiculous. But,
no, you're not going to get caught up. You're there.
I could already see it coming. What are you talking about me?
Right. Exactly.
He's talking about all y'all.
Oh my God.
Dang it.
All right, Aprylete, you probably plan and you have gotten to a place after a great deal of planning and saving and all the things that you've expressed. So what are you doing? How did you prepare to be in this place, but also looking ahead to 2023 and all the goodness that is waiting for you?
I guess in my preparation, it was being still, surrendering, the obedience that I spoke about. So that really prepared me. And so now it's just kind of, to be honest, I'm trying to be honest here. When I moved to Dallas, when I moved into my apartment and things like that, things were a bit expensive. And I'm just like, okay, goodness gracious, this is more than what I want to pay because I'm very frugal. Okay. And I was beating myself up. I was just like, you know what? I don't want this. Like, I want something else, but I love this apartment, but it's just like, I don't want it. It doesn't feel right because it's so expensive. I went through my finances. I can afford it. And I just had to remind myself where I was at. And it's just like, you prepared for this. It's just like God has helped you prepare for this. You're okay. Like just what is it like? What is it? Reap the rewards or the benefits and things. So I'm in that season, really accepting my rewards. Because I'm always looking on how I can sacrifice and like what do I have to sacrifice? Like, oh, maybe I can sacrifice my tub because I have a tub in this apartment and one of the other apartments did not. It was just a shower. And it was like, I may not take a bath every day, but I want the luxury to be able to sit in the tub.
To know that it's there.
Yes. And so I was going to sacrifice my tub because I felt that I had to, but I had to be reminded that I already have done my sacrifice. So now I can have my reward. So that is kind of the space that I'm in for this new year. It's just accepting my reward. And I'm all for it. It's kind of hard to really do that, but I'm really all for it. Just personally, and then even with my relationships that I've made. And I would say with you and this platform and everything, like this is not something that I even imagined. So I'm just like, I'm accepting this and trying to nurture it. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the new year, and I prepared by my sacrifice and my obedience.
That's beautiful. Did the pandemic make you all more cognizant of preparing and for the future and being ready for the unknown? Did any of you all have that in your heads, in your minds?
I think I was already pretty like prepared for that. I was already very.
Well, you were a step ahead than a lot of us, I think, my friend.
Yeah, I found ways to cope with being, you know, by myself, and not even cope with it, just enjoying that and finding other outlets that didn't include work, errands, technology, or having to be around people or doing things that require the approval of people or a reward system, just finding things that I just truly enjoyed. So when the pandemic happened.
When what happened, Coy? When what?
Things came to a standstill. While we wait for this technology to get back. Okay, so when the pandemic happened,
I was relieved. I'm like, great.
I can kick back.
Yes, I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to hear about, you know, just different crazy things going on. I'm pretty sure we're not going to hear a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news because everybody's just going to have to sit down. I get to read books. I get to take the time to learn things that I've been wanting to start for the longest. So I try to learn how to knit. And what else did I do?
You and Michelle Obama.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was doing that then. I did that. Started another garden that I couldn't take with me because of the way this apartment is set up now. Yeah, did all kind of stuff. Started doing little stunts on my patio, and yeah, got a lot more exercising in. Discovered more nature trails. I was having a blast.
And when things kind of return to normal, whatever that looks like or whatever that is, how did that make you feel?
That
in terms of preparation and things that you were doing and as you would move on in your life.
Yeah, I felt like the pandemic helped me return to my normal, or helped me have more time for my normal. So going back to the normal was like, it's time to stop dancing. It's time. I've been wanting to leave the club for a long time. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't really have a solid plan or a solid footing. It was just time. And it got to the point where I knew that I drug it out. And then it came to the point where the club said, hey, you basically don't have a job anymore. They do, but you don't. I was like, wow, I feel real slighted. My ego was hurt at first. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. And I just stepped out on faith. And then get your booty to the pole happened.
Right.
Yeah. And then that's when get your booty to the pole happened unexpectedly.
Yep.
Unexpectedly. And then everything just took off from there.
Up from there. Love it.
What about you two, Aprylete and Cam? Were you prepared for, or was there something that in your past prepared you for the pandemic? Were you looking ahead to the possibilities? I can't say that I was, admittedly. I didn't think that I would be leaving a job of great security, starting another job, and then months later, everything would just kind of fall apart in terms of the construct that I had in my head and in my life.
Wow. So how did you handle that? I'm sorry.
It was God and good friends.
Yeah.
But it was a learning. There was a learning curve to all of that. To adjust to the financial as well as the mental changes that took place, and my schedule, my day-to-day schedule made a big change in terms of the way that I was working before, and the way that I'm working now are totally different.
Yeah,
it's totally turned end over end. So what about you guys? What about preparation? Were you prepared for this, or was there something in you that prepared for what happened during the pandemic with your lives?
You want to go first? Oh, okay, I'll go. Well, definitely not prepared. However, I would say for me, the pandemic wore me out. Because still working in news, like I wasn't off, and and I had the luxury, and I would say I'm very fortunate that I was able to keep my job, because so many people were laid off and things like that in the industry, and things changed. But I was wore out, very, very overworked during that time for sure. And then of course the structure changed. So I'm happy that I had a place, to live and things like that. And I was able to work remotely, but I still had to like be out there in the streets. So I was very, very tired. So I think that after that, I had to kind of reevaluate some things. And one thing I will say, that I was able to use my gift that God gave me outside of work, just being there for people, because I'm okay with being alone. Like I'm totally fine with it, but being there for people in ways like for them, and I was able to give that to them. So I'm happy that I was able to use my gift in that season of the pandemic, and just be an ear, be someone that you could call and talk to, and that would listen, outside of being stressed and overworked at work. But I had to make myself available to my family, and that we don't really talk as much, but it was just like, I had to show up in that way, because a lot of people around me were affected more than really me. I wasn't really that impacted. I just kept on working and working, and wasn't really that impacted. And I hate to say that, because so many people were, and so many people lost their lives, and just so many people financially, and just home structures, things have changed. And so I was just glad that God was able to, allow me to use my gift for other people during that.
Sure.
That time.
Yeah, I get it. Khameron, you're a man with a plan and great vision, and not to mention a big sleigh. So how did you prepare? Were you prepared? Was there something that didn't kind of throw your life, just askew in terms of what happened during the pandemic?
Yeah, it's funny that you should mention that. I keep 3 journals, and in my like day-to-day journal, a couple months before the pandemic hit, before we even had heard of COVID, I was just feeling really overwhelmed with work. And I was like, man, I wish I could work from home for a year. And then of course, God was like, okay. And then, the world just went poof. And I had received some assignments. One of them, was to learn the stock market, to kind of start my LLC as like a speaker and a cultural asset to the city of Chicago, and I had made $15K on the stock market, but the pandemic also reacquainted me with a lot of my vices, principally among those my run-ins with substance abuse in the past, all of the time spent idle, all of the time. I mean, no matter how hard I had like exercised myself. And there was a lot of people that had lost their lives due to opium overdoses, and such. But I had blundered prodigiously, and so a large part of the pandemic was just pulling myself back from that. to which I had really ended up blocking a lot of blessings that were supposed to come my way. And I don't harbor any guilt for it. You know,
Sure.
it was just a humble reminder that that there are plans, you know, that are working in my favor. All things are working for my good for those that believe in the Lord.
Right.
And it was just a sample portion of greater things to come. Lo and behold, later on in that same year, I was asked to be a tour representative for these great migration tours through the state of Illinois. And the first thing that she asked me was like, "Are you incorporated?" And I was like, "Yep, missed that one." But I am grateful for the lessons learned because they're still there. I have achieved a lot of knowledge in all of that extra time, and I have learned a whole lot more about myself than I ever could have if I was just still hustling. You know, with all of like the to and fro, the getting from A to B. And I built a very strong relationship with my family in that time, and we did a lot of healing together, spending a lot of time together too. So all in all, there was a moment of just like prodigious self exploration. There was like a very critical plot juncture, and then I had to kind of crawl myself back from the brink. But we're here. You know, I'm back and better than ever, and with a lot of jolly to go around.
Yes, you are. And a lot of Christmas spirit. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So let's play a little game as we close up here of name it and claim it. And that means what would you like to see for those nearest and dearest for you, nearest and dearest to you and for yourselves in 2023. Let's name it and claim it. Who would like to name and claim first?
Ooh.
Khameron?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Every prayer that I ever make, I always ask that God give all of the motivation, all of the self-starting, all of the energy and the wisdom that He's given me. Just pass it along to my mom. Just give it to my mom because she's got some serious plans. And so in 2023, I just speak wellness, I speak sustenance, I speak joy, and I will claim those things, and I will pass them right along to my mom.
That's awesome. That's really precious.
Yeah.
Speaking of wellness, we should make a note that Kwyn just wasn't doing a flyby. She was Khameron's little sister. Kwyn wasn't feeling well, and although it was her intention to stay with us the entire time, she wasn't feeling well enough to continue. So we'll catch her on another cast, obviously. Aprylete, let us go to you. Name it and claim it for 2023.
Okay,
for you, name it and claim it for 2023 for you or those close to you.
Okay.
And that includes Gucci.
Absolutely, we gotta include Goody Daddy. I guess I'm just gonna name and claim a sound mind is number one. Because that's very important. And number two is freedom. And whatever that looks like for you and whatever you are shackled to that you need to, have freedom from. It could be all across the board. So a sound mind and freedom. I am naming it and claiming it.
Amen. I love that. All right, Coy of the Green Thumb and a gazillion jobs. Name it and claim it. For you, for those you love, what would you like to see in 2023?
For myself, I would like to see me get past this. I don't know what this mindset is that I've had, I think, kind of over the last year that's just kind of like hesitant and that just is just, I don't know, nervous about taking the first step or nervous about getting things in order the way that I would like to, whether it's in my life, physical things, or just tasks that I have. I love to see myself get past that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm claiming that I'm getting past that. Whatever
Well, you
this
know,
month,
they
I don't
say
know
the
what you
best way to
label
make
it.
God laugh.
No, I don't want to do that because then that means I'm gonna be crazy next year.
No. The term and the speech is the best way to make God laugh is to make plans. Because he knows he has the you know he has the plans for you.
Yeah.
And so you just have to claim that, and then you'll be able to name it, and get that block, get thee away from me, you know.
Yeah. So that freedom is for you too. So I name and claim freedom over your life, over your nerves that you have moving forward.
Yeah. I claim that finances are going to be the best that I have ever seen, my family has ever seen, my friends. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. What about
I
you,
wish I too am hoping for a lotto win, because I do want to I do want to take care of, that I want to share with, and to thank them in a way that they won't have the worry and the burdens on their shoulders, on their backs, on their books regarding financial security.
Yeah.
And especially for those that are, near and dear to me. I really do want to see that. And so whatever way that comes, I do, that is my prayer. And to see this venture grow. I would love to see that grow.
I love that.
And to be able to do that and own a bar next to some water that would bring me the water and not the alcohol in the bar, but I just like the idea of having that kind of social gathering place with fruit juices and everything.
I love that.
And a bookstore. It's a combination bar, bookstore.
Oh, cool! I'm coming.
Yeah.
And everybody, it's already trademarked, so don't be stealing her ideas. That's for everybody watching. No, but that's an awesome idea. I love that.
Yeah. I've kind of gotten away from owning a football team because it's so crazy now, and I would make Colin Kaepernick my starting quarterback, but I don't know that he wants the job. I'm not sure. But let me just say this. I want to thank you all for all the great work that you have done with us for this past year. I wish you all that all of your dreams, your wishes, and your claims come true. And wishing that as well to all the people who join us every day and who read the newsletter. A reminder that, and also wishing good health to Kwyn as she wasn't feeling well, that this is just a blip on the screen there, just one of those days. But you all are such good people and you're great spirits, and I really appreciate it. And that goes to the rest of the staff that you all don't normally see, those that watch us every day. And that includes Chica, who is our technical producer, and Cherie White, who is the heart and soul of the newsletter, as well as Andrea Curley. And last and certainly not least is Yolanda Starks White and her husband, Ward White, who have been there in the darkest of times, and hopefully we'll continue to see the light. Yes. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. Happy New Year. I wish only the best.